There's many different kinds of foster care, which not everyone is aware of. Everybody knows of supportive foster care. Whenever people hear about foster care, that's what they think of. It's a regular foster home. These kids are removed in, and whatever open homes out there, they go into that home. And that's where majority of the agencies in Oklahoma, that's the kind of foster care they do. Then there's therapeutic foster care, and that is something that people are not aware of, and our state is in big need of it, because therapeutic foster care is a lot of times kids that can't maintain in these regular supportive foster homes. And it may be due to the fact that they need more clinical help, or they've been exposed to trauma, or no one is equipped to get them to a place where they're stable again, or knowing what to do or how to deal with that behavior. And one of the main things that I've learned in my experience of foster care is you see behaviors, you see things, you see tantrums, you see different things happening, and people just identify this kid as, oh my goodness, this kid's a bad kid. But being in this for so long, I realized it has nothing to do with the kid just being a bad kid. I mean, no kid is just a bad kid. I mean, all kids have little negative behaviors, but for them to get to that behavior of those bad behaviors, it has to do with the trauma that they went through or the neglect, and they don't know how to navigate their emotions. They don't know how to navigate the trauma that they've gone through. I mean, even us as adults, we deal with anxiety, or we go through depression, and if we're not aware of that's what's going on, we just know we mentally don't feel good, or physically we don't know what's happening. But imagine a little baby or a little kid that's feeling all these emotions and they have no idea what it is. They just know that their body doesn't feel good, their mind doesn't feel good, and they don't even know how to explain themselves. And so a lot of times these kids come into homes where, in the supportive homes where the parents aren't trained, they don't know what's happening. They're just this kid's having temper tantrums. We're feeding them, we're clothing them, we're doing this for them, but this child is still acting out, and we're done. So they give up. And I mean, I'm not faulting those families for doing that, because it's hard. It's not an easy situation to be in, which is why in therapeutic foster care, we give that training up front. Hey, this child may act out. This child may throw temper tantrums or destroy things, or they may cry, have crying spells, but this is the background they're coming from, and this is why this home kicked them out, or this is why this family wasn't able to handle them. So with therapeutic foster care, I actually think they have an advantage, because when they get these kids, they're given more information than a supportive home is given. The reason why they're coming to therapeutic foster care is because they're not maintaining because of behaviors. So they're coming in with behaviors, and our clinical team, as well as family supportive team, we're all coming in together with the parents, with the caseworkers, and we're coming up with a plan going in with this child. That's what therapeutic foster care is. Now, there's also ITFC, which is intensive therapeutic foster care, and that is a fairly new program. There's barely any in the state of Oklahoma. There is some, but we're really pushing to grow that program, because there's some kids that have come into custody, and because of their breakdowns, because of lack of understanding on what this child is going through, they've been sent to inpatient facilities, or they've been sent to different facilities where no one really knows how to navigate that behavior. So this child has been in a facility where that's what they've been used to ever since they've left. And now they've kind of been institutionalized to where they don't know how to function in a regular school. They don't know how to function in a regular home. They don't know how to respond or behave. So this program was created mainly to get these kids that are institutionalized and get them in a home where you're teaching them what a normal home looks like, what a structure in a home looks like, what it means to go to school. And it may be that the kid starts off with half day of school, and then we're kind of progressively teaching them to stay in a school all day long because they've never been in one. And they have a lot more intense behaviors, and they did come from a very intensive background to where they don't know what normal looks like. And there's just been so many kids that have left the state custody never being taught what normal is. So we're growing these kids to become adults that never learned how to be in a normal home. So they can't have normal families. They can't have normal jobs because they've never been taught. So the goal of that program is to get them in a place where we can teach them what normal is, teach them how to get there. And our goal from there, usually ITFC, they go down to TFC, and from TFC, hopefully they can get to their goal of going back home to their biological families. And if that's not an option, we're hoping to get them to a place of adoption, so where they have a permanency or permanent plan for their life. One of my success stories actually was a 6-year-old that came into my agency was under 15 medications because no one was actually dealing with the behavior. They just kept giving the child medication to mask behaviors, to the point where the child's personality was pretty much gone. The behaviors did not go away. The child could not leave the facility because the behaviors continued unless they were medicated to calm down. And when she came into our TFC level of care, slowly we started working with the foster parent, we started working with the psychiatrist, and one by one, she was taken off of medications. She started losing weight, her personality started coming out, and she went down to maybe medication for sleep. That was the only thing. And this kid had the cutest personality, the best personality, but the thing was, not that the facilities don't know what they're doing, but sometimes there's so many of them and there's so little staff. So maybe someone's not focusing in just on this child, where in a foster home, that's what we're focusing on. That's what the parent is focusing on, an individual look onto this child. She became so well to the point where that foster mom adopted her because she had nowhere else to go. She came in with, they said oppositional defiant. I know she had ADHD and PTSD for sure, but it was 15 or 16 medications. And the child was overweight due to the medications. And I remember it broke my heart just seeing her because she was zoned out at the intake and she's just staring off into space. And then just a year later, seeing that she started losing weight and she started having a personality. She was very sassy. It was so cute. We'd come in and to see her show all her sass, but she just started doing so well. It felt good, and it was just one of my success stories. That little girl is doing so well. We still see her from time and time again, but she's doing great.